The 1978 film Halloween, directed by John Carpenter, is widely regarded as one of the most influential and iconic horror movies of all time. It laid the foundation for the slasher genre, creating a blueprint that would inspire countless films in the years to follow. But what made Halloween so groundbreaking? And what is it about the movie that still resonates with audiences more than 4 decades later? Plot and characters. Halloween takes place in the small town of Haddonfield, Illinois, on Halloween night. The film opens with a chilling scene. A young boy, Michael Myers, kills his sister. But what's even more disturbing is that Michael's killing spree doesn't seem to come from any obvious motive. He is locked away in a psychiatric institution for 15 years after the crime, only to escape on Halloween night, setting the stage for an eerie and suspenseful chase. The film introduces us to Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, a shy, intelligent high school student who is forced to confront Michael when he stalks her and her friends. As the night progresses, Laurie's resourcefulness and determination lead her to face off against the masked killer in one of the most tense and memorable final confrontations in horror history. Michael Myers, played by Nick Castle, is a faceless, relentless force of evil. Unlike other slashers of the time, Michael doesn't speak, and his motives are never fully explained. This enigmatic nature made him even more terrifying, as viewers couldn't predict his next move or reason for killing. Other key characters include Laurie's friends, Linda and Annie, who unfortunately fall victim to Michael's madness. While they may seem like typical slasher film stereotypes at first, the film gives them moments of levity, which makes their eventual deaths more impactful. Thematic elements. One of the key themes of Halloween is the idea of pure evil, embodied in the character of Michael Myers. He's not motivated by revenge or anger. He kills because he can. This concept of evil being something that cannot be reasoned with or understood was a departure from earlier horror films, where the killers often had some personal vendetta. Another prominent theme is survival, and Laurie's struggle to stay alive as Michael relentlessly stalks her. Laurie represents the final girl archetype, a trope in horror where the most virtuous and pure female character survives to the end. Her quiet resilience and intelligence are integral to her survival, a refreshing contrast to the damsel in distress characters of earlier films. Finally, the use of suspense and tension over gore in Halloween was groundbreaking. Carpenter, who also composed the film's iconic score, made use of long, drawn-out scenes where Michael's presence is felt, but not always seen. The minimalist score, with its haunting piano theme, became synonymous with the film, adding a layer of dread to the atmosphere. Jamie Lee Curtis and her career. Halloween was a breakout role for Jamie Lee Curtis, who would go on to become one of horror's most beloved icons. Her portrayal of Laurie Strode made her the quintessential final girl and cemented her place in cinematic history. Curtis's performance is remarkable because she brings depth to a character that, in lesser hands, might have been reduced to a mere plot device. Her fear, strength, and vulnerability make Laurie a relatable and sympathetic protagonist. Curtis's career skyrocketed after Halloween, and she would go on to star in other notable films such as The Fog, 1980, Trading Places, 1983, and True Lies, 1994. But Laurie Strode always remained her defining role, and she returned to the Halloween franchise in multiple sequels, as well as the recent reboot trilogy that began in 2018. Impact on pop culture. Halloween was a groundbreaking film in many ways. It was made on a relatively small budget, around $300,000, but it grossed over $70 million in the US, making it one of the most profitable independent films of its time. Its success kicked off the slasher genre in earnest, leading to the creation of films like Friday the 13th, 1980, A Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984, and Prom Night, 1980. These films would go on to build off the formula Carpenter perfected, with a masked killer stalking young victims in a seemingly senseless spree of violence. However, Halloween stands apart from other slasher films due to its focus on suspense, atmosphere, and the slasher as a force of nature concept. Michael Myers wasn't a man with a grudge. He was a living embodiment of pure evil, something that transcended personal motives and resonated with audiences in a way that made him legendary. Trash, sequels, reboots, and influence. The success of Halloween led to a long series of sequels with varying degrees of quality. Halloween 2, 1981, picks up right where the first film leaves off and continues Laurie's story. But Michael Myers' backstory is expanded, making him less of an enigma. The sequels would continue to build on the basic formula of a masked killer attacking victims, though the franchise saw many ups and downs in terms of consistency and narrative direction. In 1998, Halloween H20 Star was released as a sort of soft reboot, completely disregarding the continuity of the films that came after Halloween 2. This film brought back Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode, and it marked a return to the franchise's roots, with a more modern sensibility. In recent years, the Halloween franchise has undergone a major overhaul. The 2018 Halloween film, directed by David Gordon Green, acts as a direct sequel to the original 1978 film, ignoring the events of all previous sequels. It reintroduces Laurie Strode, now a battle-hardened woman who has spent decades preparing for Michael's return. This film was a critical and commercial success, leading to 2 sequels, Halloween Kills 2021 and Halloween Ends 2022. Similar movies and legacy Halloween set the stage for a wave of slasher films throughout the 80s and beyond, including the aforementioned Friday the 13th and A Nightmare on Elm Street. These films followed a similar formula, with masked or disfigured killers stalking their victims in various settings, but none reached the same level of cultural significance as Halloween. Other films like The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974, and Black Christmas, 1974, also had an impact on the genre, but Halloween is often credited with popularizing the slasher movie template and making it mainstream. In the decades since its release, Halloween has influenced countless films, television shows, and video games, and its legacy is undeniable. Michael Myers' mask, Laurie's scream, and Carpenter's haunting score remain part of the collective horror film consciousness. Conclusion. At its core, Halloween is a film about fear, the fear of an unknowable, unstoppable evil, and the terror it brings. It's a masterclass in suspense, an iconic work that influenced an entire genre of filmmaking. The character of Laurie Strode is a groundbreaking example of the final girl archetype, and Jamie Lee Curtis's performance helped propel her career into stardom. Whether you're a longtime horror fan or a newcomer to the genre, Halloween remains essential viewing. Its impact on pop culture, its influence on horror films, and its timeless themes make it a true classic that has stood the test of time. The franchise may have had its ups and downs, but the original 1978 film is still and will always be the gold standard for slasher films.